back in Manila, we ended up working with the executive ministry. And around this time, the government was going through some trauma. President Marcos was holding on to power perhaps a little longer than most people there thought he should have been doing. And there was an opposition leader, Benigno Aquino, who had been in the US and came back, and as he got off the airplane was assassinated. The result was there was great uproar. Things were coming unglued. People were concerned for the nation because they didn't know what was going to be happening. Well, some of these executives that we were meeting with were praying and said, we have got to do something. Things were out of control, and our only hope was turning to God. These executives decided we needed to have a prayer rally to call people to pray, to cast ourselves on the Lord. And I thought, okay, I'm willing to help. And it was called Jesus, Hope of the Nation. And they decided to have it at a place called the Carino Grandstand, where they had a huge field out in front. And I thought, this is a little large for, they're thinking big. Well, as we would meet together, they came up with plans. We put up posters all over. We mobilized churches to call people to pray. And so that everywhere you could see it was Jesus, Hope of the Nation. So it ended up like over 25,000 people came to this rally to pray. And we thought, Lord, thank you. There were constant calls to throw ourselves on the mercies of God. And at this time, then the government called out the troops to quell the demonstrations, and the soldiers were eventually told to disperse the crowd in any way possible and even to shoot. And I guess the orders would come and they'd say, well, yes, we'll do that. We're just fixing the equipment. It's gotten a little rusty, and so they have to do it before then. Or they said, have you done it yet? Well, no, there's something broke here. And so eventually the soldiers could not bring themselves to fire upon the crowds, and did not, and saw a change of government in a peaceful way that would have been a very volatile thing. And I kind of look back and I wonder, God, how much of that, we were just one little part. There were many others, but how much of that might have been this group of people who sat in this person's home, who prayed and said, God, you have got to do something in our country. Lord, bring about a change in a peaceful way. And that group, I think when they get to heaven, God's going to say, well, let me show you the video here of what took place, because you prayed, you worked. And I thought, what a thrill it's going to be when we get to heaven. And this was a little part when God kind of pulled the curtain back, and I was able to see a little bit of what it's going to be like in heaven. To see people and say, you mean because I was kind to this person, because I allowed your Spirit to work, I said something that I thought was insignificant, but that influenced that person's life. I thought, wow, God, you are so good. You bring your work and your love to people that's going to go so far beyond anything that we could ask or think, that it's just awesome.